Hello everybody, Zeno here, and I still hold Forza 4 as being the peak of Turn 10's Forza Motorsport video game design. 6 is actually a really close second, but not by much. But with 7 supposedly having all these loot boxes, or what I like to call looter to booters, and it, from what I hear, not having the best car selection other than the fact that Porsche is actually included in it, I feel like Forza 8 has a lot of expectations to meet, especially since they actually technically delayed it for another year, perfect for it to release alongside the Xbox or Xbox Series X. Well, with a side note saying, with everybody kind of jumping on Forza Horizon's popularity train, I could also see Forza 8 actually not performing as well as some of Forza's previous games, and that's kind of unfortunate. I mean, I do like open world anything, especially the fact that they had made Forza Horizon an open world racing game. It's fun and all, you get to drive around and do whatever you want. But there's just something about track-based racing sims. It's kind of hard to call Forza a sim, because it's actually not as much as it used to be. But there's just something about the mainline Forza games I always end up going back to. So with that being said, here are a bunch of features I would love for them to announce for Forza 8. Starting off pretty strong here too, the first thing I would love for them to announce is for virtual reality support. And I know that's already ambitious, but having the PC version actually have like Oculus, Vive, Windows Mixed Reality, and Valve Index support would be fantastic, especially since there's already dozens and dozens of racing sims that are trying or actually have supported this feature. And it would just give me another reason to love this series more, because I have tried out some racing games in VR, but having that Forza style of racing and control would mean so much for the series, especially for the future, establishing it now. But it would also be a funny callback to Forza 4, because when the Kinect came out and it was supposedly big, Forza 4 actually had that weird invisible steering wheel controller support, and it'd be a funny way to call back to it, since Forza 8 is Forza 4 times 2, and that's why I hold 8 so much to the hype. But let's move on to number 2. Two is a simple one, and that's to have a lot of the previous video games, previous Forza tracks, because there are a lot of tracks they ended up removing in the newer Forza games, and having a lot of them remastered or brought back as the mainline-based, like, on-disc content. I can't really think of any other way. Release game content, I don't know the word. Having all that stuff in there would be so nice, especially those tracks, those Japanese mountain style tracks from Forza 4, because if I can't recall correctly, I can't remember any of the newer ones actually having that track anymore. So having even just those would be so fun. I get to initial D my way to victory. But let's move on to number 3. Number 3 would be the old-fashioned style of Forza Vista, the Forza 4 kind, where you could still Forza Vista like any amount of cars, but having like those special challenges to unlock like those moments, or those certain cars that get explained in detail by some like car journalist or car enthusiast, like back when Jeremy Clarkson was a part of Top Gear and he actually talked about like the awesomeness of the selection of cars. That was some of the best content you could end up listening to while learning about cars. And as far as I know, they never really got to do that in Forza 5 and in Forza 6, and I have no idea with Forza 7 because I actually haven't played that game at all. But having that on at least like a dozen or so cars would be freaking fantastic. And since Jeremy Clarkson is doing Grand Tour now, they could just find a way to get him and his friends, James May and Richard Hammond, to do something similar, because their commentary is just like the best thing in the world. If you haven't watched them already, you should. I highly recommend it. But having something like that would be just nice, because it's fun listing off random facts while displaying the beauty of the car. With that being said, let's move on to number 4.
In 1961.
Number 4 might be the most useless one, because I'm pretty sure there's a way to do it even on the current versions of Forza, but they would be what I would call co-op events. And that pretty much, Forza Horizon pretty much does this already, but having them work correctly in the current mainline Forza games would be really neat. And my best way to explain this is to, if you play Forza 4, or I guess any of them, but I just have a lot of footage of 4, there are events you can choose that have specific scenarios of you challenging other racers, like I can't even remember the freaking Japanese track name. It's like Fujimi, I don't know. I can't Japan, okay? I just can't Japan. But there's you get to erase the 8.6 down the mountain, up the mountain, reverse track, current track. There's so many challenges you can do where you race a specific set of AI scenarios, and having that while co-op would be awesome, because you don't really get those kind of scenarios in private lobbies. But with also that being said, this kind of joins into the same thing of AI, having private lobbies where you can have more than 2 or 3 AI cars, because again, don't quote me, I am so behind on these kinds of games because I actually don't have that many friends to play with. But if I sell these features and they're in the game, I'm pretty sure they'd play with me. But if we had the ability to put up 30 AI racers up in a track while we're in a private lobby, that would be fun, because it would actually give us a little bit more of a challenge. And instead of just doing a 1v1 race, we would have different options to make the race more interesting. So I don't know what else to say other than make sure if those if those features were already in the game, please keep them, because every other Forza game seems to remove certain features that would make it fun in previous games. 6 had it where you could only have 2 racers in AI, or not at all in split screen, but online you could, and it's just so confusing. And just add the ability. We should have the AI processing power to do it, especially if it's coming out for this Xbox. So my rant is over for that. Let's move on to number 5. I'm surprised I came up with this one while thinking of features for Forza 8. I'm surprised they have not implemented this feature by now in tons of racing games, but it would be a co-op decal designer. This would be a super neat feature. Having someone, preferably a friend, of course, if they could find a way where you can just join random people's lobbies, I guess that's a bonus. But having someone join you in a decal customizing lobby to customize or even tune a car would be an awesome way to collaborate on designs, tunes, upgrades, and all sorts of stuff without having to play in the same room or having to share a screen online or something stupid like that. This would work well mostly for the decal art though section, because you could both be customizing one side of the car, exchanging ideas, criticizing someone's work, and maybe helping them edit or fix certain things all in real time. It'd be an awesome way to see people who are really good at art collaborate on new designs and publish them together, and they would be credited as both artists and stuff like that. It would also be a fun thing to see a YouTube series where people take advantage of this feature, where they're this guy can only see the left side of the car and this guy can only see the right side of the car, and they both put designs on them, and then they can critique their other designs whenever they're finished, if they put an artificial time limit or something. That's just an idea I came up with, and it'd be cool to see that, and then have it where they publish the design, and then they have this car that has 2 uniquely detailed sides of the car that give this just flush of different kind of creativity in the car. Imagine some guy makes this I know there's the anime designs are really popular, but having this like badass anime design on the left and on the right, it was like from some other series of some other anime, and the way like the colors clash and fade into each other just makes the car look extremely unique and badass. I don't know, this thing would be really cool to see, especially when people adopt all these decals and designs. And I guess putting that on top of it, another feature would be a more extensive design lobby, like looker. I can't think of the right word right now, but it's just a way you can look at more designs than one, or find a way to jerry-rig them onto different kinds of cars. Because imagine if somebody made like a really cool design for a Mustang, but given the right amount of space, you could like paste it to a 370Z, or you could paste it to a Skyline, or you could paste it to a Hummer if they added it in the game. If they found a way to like jury-rig vinyl designs and just paste them onto other cars, and then giving you the ability to do that if the artist lets you like give permission to do that, that would be freaking insane. Having a whole little, I would call it a store, because you could probably like spend credits and stuff. That'd actually be another cool way to do things. But having a way where you can search and download specific topics for types of designs, so you can always have something cool to customize for your car, especially if you're not a creative person and you just like to look up creative things, that would be immensely cool. But that was my 5th idea and hope I would like to put in Forza 8. Well, those are all the ideas I can come up with right now. The other easy things I could say is just give it that Forza 4 control style. I don't know, it feels more rugged. It feels more like a sim than it does arcade racing game. I don't know, something about turning all the assists off in Forza 4 just feels so much better than 5, 6, or 7, and especially the Horizon games. That's just one last thing I could probably tack on before I end the video, because that's all what I have to say for now. I hope you enjoyed the video, and it would be really cool if we could help these guys get ideas to implement these things on here. But I would like to say, what did you think about any of these? Please comment below on your opinion on any of these. If you contest for any reason why you think it'd be stupid for them to implement a certain feature, let me know, because I talking about this stuff is fun. And that's all what I like to do, especially when you can speculate. It's always fun to speculate before they actually announce features or announce the game. I can't wait for Forza 8. I really hope it lives up to the hype of what the old ones do, especially since they put a lot more time into developing this game, hopefully. But other than that, I don't know. I'm going to leave the hype going for me. Subscribe and like the video if you liked it. And with that, Zeno is out of here. Goodbye. Well, I have a couple more ideas, but I don't really bother. Well, that's all I really have to put out. And then the ideas right. I can't even talk.